Right. Would you like to introduce yourself first? I mean, go for there.
Hi, I'm Vicious from Pretty Addicted, and it's really nice to be back talking to you. Our last interview didn't see the light of day, so hopefully this one will be grand.
Definitely. Right. About the band. I mean, you've worked really hard this last 18 months to get this new album out.
Yeah, it's well, I started in the COVID period. I did the campaign to raise funds for it literally 2 years ago. I was looking at how long ago it was the other day, and it was like 2 years ago. And, I helped raise a massive chunk towards it, but, it's cost me a much more than double what I raised, because essentially with the Corona situation, I had to build my own studio instead of renting out the studio I was before. So I had to get all the programs and the speakers and the Mac and just kit out the room and everything. So it was a big, lengthy process. And then I was telling my patrons the full story recently, but the first Mac I had, and I wrote the album in full. And then I went and I finished it like June last year. And then I went to Hellfest for a week, came back, and it was broken and I lost all the songs. And I had to rewrite it from scratch. So I was like absolutely devastated. All the files were corrupted except 7. And I wanted to use those 7. So I basically rewrote them all from ear without any stems on them or anything. So, and then they ended up coming out actually better, but it was mad to just have to listen, and there was a white noise over all the songs as well, so I had to really, really listen and really write it all like completely from scratch, and then add new songs again to make it. And I've now got there's 18, I think there's 18
tracks, yeah.
or 9. Yeah, there was 19, but I couldn't get the last one to sound correct, so I'm just going to put it on pause and maybe release it later on. But yeah, so I've written about 30 songs really for it. So it's been a long thing. But what I found anyways, because I've been through such a sort of life-changing journey for the last 2 years, that every time I rewrote it, it sort of matched where I was anyway, so that I can see my whole journey when I listen to this album for the last 2 years, which has been quite nice. And yeah, so I feel like it's like changed my life. So from a personal perspective, it's probably the most important thing I've ever written to me.
It's sounding really good, that's for sure.
Thank you.
And I think you are probably right with comments I've seen you make that it is your best work. It really is good.
Thank you.
Has that helped, do you think, working from a home environment in a home studio?
Yeah. So obviously I produced all the albums prior to this myself, but because I used someone's studio occasionally when I did need help, they would come in and help me because, he's a very seasoned engineer. So whenever I did need help, the help was there. But I was basically left to write this completely myself and work out everything myself and basically get to grips with tech and really just like hammer in on how to make it really good. And by the end of it, when I sent it all to be mixed by that same engineer, he actually wrote me an email saying like it's half mixed already. So and he wrote me this long email saying that he's really proud of like the producer I've become, and he's watched me do this for 10 years, and I've basically done it all on my own anyway. And it was just really nice to get that validation from someone that I respect. And actually, shout out to Alex AB, because he announced his retirement from music.
Whoa.
Yeah, so he waited till the album was finished and completely mixed, and then he sent me a message and saying like, I want to tell you before I tell everyone else. And I've actually been waiting to make this announcement until I finished your album, because like I know how important it is to you, but that's it now. So essentially now for the next one, I have to learn to mix myself as well now. So, it's been the end of an era. And I feel like this album is the start of like my new era. Yeah. And when I started it, it was basically the 10-year mark of Pretty Addicted. And I feel like, okay, I've learned so much from that decade, and I had a certain sound and I did things a certain way, but this is like the start of my next decade, and I'm seeing it in that positive way instead of being like, no, Alex, no, this, what do I do? Like, I'm just trying to see it as, right, I've got 10 years of experience of shows, of writing, like, let's see what the next fucking 10 years can do.
Yeah. And it's, like I said, it's sounding really good. So obviously you've done a really good job, but you must have worked so hard to get your day job, your music, home life.
And I did a 20-date tour in the summer as well.
Yeah. So it's a lot to fit in.
Yeah. Well,
have you found the hours? Sorry.
I didn't. That's okay. As of last month, I left my job and I'm officially only a musician now, doing my Patreon. That's why. So if anyone wants to join and help me, I'm basically going to be making my money from now on, to be really just an artist. But I basically don't sleep. And when I do, it's at odd hours. On tour, you kind of sleep when you can, on coaches anyway.
Yeah.
But one thing that was like really showed me like how mental this whole process has been. So the last week where I had to send off the songs for mastering, and it had to go off then or I wouldn't be ready on time. Me and Chris share my partner share one Mac charger between the two of us, and he had to go off and do a shoot for work, and he took the Mac charger, so I couldn't turn on my Mac. And Alex said to me, I need changes on like 5 of the songs, because that's when I found out about the white noise problem. He's like, you're going to have to rewrite these songs from scratch. And I was like, well, he's gone for a week and there's no Mac charger. So I called around my friends, and my friend Vicky from Pulverize, hi Vicky, said, you can come to mine and use my charger, but I'm going to be asleep. By the time I got there and sat in front of that computer, it was midnight. And I basically sat there until 7:50 in the morning, just rewriting these songs from scratch, and then had to go to work like an hour later. And then, because I had one full charge, just do as much as I could when I got home and send it all to Alex. And like the amount I've actually done on this album is fucking mental.
And you do all your own videos as well, don't you?
Yeah, so I really enjoy editing. Actually, I used to use my friend Sean from Loki Films. He's amazing, and he's got a red camera. That's like a 75 grand camera. So his videos are amazing. But obviously, when COVID sort of hit and I had to do my own shit, I realized like how much I actually like editing, and you can choose how you want it to look. Like when you leave it up to someone else, it's like their vision of your vision.
Yeah.
But I'm a little bit of a control freak. I'm a lot of a control freak. So I realized that I like it the way I sort of envision it, and I'm getting better all the time. I think they're getting better as they go along. And obviously Chris is a videographer, so he's shot some of them. Yeah, his job is doing that. So he shot some of them when I needed help, but I always edit them. So yeah, it's been really fun, and lots of like locations and prop ideas and royalty-free footage to show stuff. And yeah, I actually really like editing.
They're coming out really well though.
Thank you. And you know what? Most of them are on my phone.
Are they really?
Yeah, so Chris has got a really nice camera, but I can't edit on my software with the file sizes on his camera. So I just got a really good mobile phone that's got a really good camera. It's like a camera quality camera. And it just makes it easier as well, like to not cart everything around. But to be fair, if you're an artist and you've got a limited budget, just a really good phone camera and some Filmora software or Premiere Pro, whatever you want to use, and just fuck about with shit until you get it right. Like, I don't see why more bands don't have music videos. Like, I mean, I was guilty in the past. I never had music videos or anything. And it's like, I think actually it's a really good way to show what the song's about and like emotionally reach people and like visually express your art. So I just think, it's great. And go on Vinted or Depop, get cheap fucking outfits and sell it afterwards. Like there's really good ways to do it on the cheap.
Yeah, you've done extremely well with your videos. I don't think you can. A normal average kind of person is not going to notice that you've done that on a mobile phone.
No,
because they look good, and you've got, because of the way you do them, they look professional because you've cut them in certain ways, and it just looks right.
Thank you. Yeah, no, Chris tells me that because obviously he's got a really good camera, and he's like, it's annoying because I'm not going to be out of a job if people keep using their phones because these phone cameras are really good. But obviously, if you're not, I guess, as creative, then it's not going to matter if you've got a phone because you're not going to be able to. I don't know. Maybe sometimes it is better to pay somebody else if you just, you're not just that way inclined. But for anyone who is creative and likes visual things, it's really easy to learn. And my first couple ones weren't that great, and then they get better. It's like you get better all the time. But then the same thing with the music. Like sometimes I listen to my stuff from 10 years ago and I enjoy it, but in a way that's just like, I wouldn't do it like that now. Like that, that's it's fine for where it belongs, but that was definitely not. That was definitely an early draft of what I can do now. So yeah,
because I've really found some of those videos of yours so entertaining. I mean, they just push boundaries in all your music pushes boundaries and pushes buttons, I think.
Yeah. Well, I think I've really landed on this my anti-religious message, because I mean, it's not just, I know some bands do it because it's like cool to like Satan, but I've honestly grown up in a religious, I call it a cult. These evangelical things, it's a cult, and the majority of my family don't talk to me because they're Christian, so I've got a personal anger towards it, and I can't really seem to manage the anger very well on my own. So it's like the best way is to express it through music and art and showing the hypocrisy of everything. And with my last single, Feed the Sheep, I've been getting for the last 6 months an unbelievable amount of Christian love / hate on my page. Yeah. And I've got 272 screenshots of shit that half of it didn't even go in the video, just of people saying, I hope you OD, why don't you just go with Satan sooner? Oh yeah, it's all in the video. I made an alternative video actually that I put up a couple of days later because people kept asking me, oh, are those screenshots in Feed the Sheep real? So I was like, yeah. So I just made like a second video. I only put it on Facebook. It's just all the screenshots, and people were like, if you love Satan so much, why don't you get a rope and hang yourself and go with him sooner? Jesus would throw you in the lake of fire, burn in hell, just a constant, like, some people look at it and they think, oh, it's really funny, but it's really close to home with me. So it's really, because I know how much they mean that.
Yeah, they do. That's the scary thing. They do mean it. It is that kind of, their love is actually hate. It really is hate. There's no forgiveness or understanding at all.
No, and there's a lot of, I mean, I think my thing to hate more than anything is I hate homophobia, because it's something you can't help. And I've always had gay friends since I was a teenager, and get a lot of I'm getting a lot of them saying like, you lesbo cunt, and burn in hell with the other F word, just really unnecessary. Sorry, my cat is just, she always wants to be the center of attention. She was actually in the video. I couldn't not put her in. She jumped up, but I think I put her in because I just followed it with a screenshot saying, thank God this thing will never have children about me. So I was just like, well, here's my fluffy child.
But horrendous, isn't it?
I'm never gonna shut up because they won't shut up, and I really, really hate the phrase, oh, I don't mind religion as long as you don't jam it down my throat, because they are jamming it down our throat all the time with their, they're trying to put it into law. It's like normalization, like with the baptism and things like, from a very small age. I don't think you should tell people about any God until they're old enough to understand what that even means. And, you know, when you're indoctrinated as a small child, I really feared hell, like for a long, even into my adulthood, it was a big thing for me. And I just thought, you know, if I was like, it was this guilt, it's this unbelievable cloak of guilt. And it was only, well, the first song of this album I wrote was There Is No God, about just under 2 years ago. And it was the day I realized I was an atheist. Like I believed it. Every day before that, it was like the God was still there. And I think that's why I'm so heavy on the anti-religious seeing this album, because now I'm angry in a different way. It's like I've been lied to, this all bullshit, and I was feeling guilty for no reason, and families torn apart. And, you know, I mean, Behemoth is a good example, what was happening with Nurgle in Poland. I mean, it was an actual court case that he posted things about the Virgin Mary on fucking Instagram. And I think there was a settle out of court fine or something like that. Blasphemy is like literally against the law in these countries. And it's like blasphemy. And I watched a movie the other day called, The Imitation Game with Benedict Cumberbatch. Or whatever.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah. It's an absolutely magnificent film. And it's obviously a true story about a guy called Alan Turing that helped, you know, Britain during the war. But because he was at the end, you know, chemically castrated by law, because being gay was illegal, I started looking into afterwards, you know, the history of homosexuality, especially in like Britain. And it was only illegal like less than 50 years ago. It was illegal like less than 50 years ago. And I read a few articles about how there were actually loopholes in the law that meant that even though it was like legal, there were ways that it was still illegal until much later. And it was really only about 2009, I want to say, that it was truly like fine. So it's really not even that long ago.
No.
And a lot of that is religion. And, you know, Britain's obviously a very religious history, but I get very passionate about this because it pisses me off. And my mum is very homophobic, and I don't know how we came out the same body, but, you know, it's just disgusting. So, as you can imagine, they really love this album.
I can imagine that.
I'm sure Fuck Me While Jesus Watches pushed her over the edge. I'm sure.
I don't think that would have helped.
Do you know, when I wrote that, I said to myself, I want to write the song that really like makes the definite, like, I am not religious in any way. And that's the most offensive thing I could think of. And I was like, right, wanking, well, getting fucked while Jesus is going to corner wanking. That's the most.
that's about the best you can get for,
you know,
proving the point.
Jason from God Module actually messaged me saying that is like the best name ever. And then I spoke to him after the video was out, and I was like, what do you think? And he's like, I didn't know that anything could be hotter than the title, but you made that video hotter than the title. So I was like, win.
Brilliant. But sometimes you've got to wind these people up.
Oh,
you have to. What's the guy who did The Office?
Ricky Gervais.
Yeah. Have you seen that one? He talks about religion.
Yeah.
I only don't believe in one more God than you. Yeah. I'm wrong.
That's it. And I like when he says, like, oh, isn't it convenient that you were born into the country with the right gods?
Yeah.
You know, isn't that convenient? That and I listen to a lot of atheist YouTube channels, especially since like my deconversion.
Yeah.
But they talk a lot about how every time someone seems to have a near-death experience where they see God, it always happens to be the God that they already know. And isn't that convenient?
Isn't that
almost like it's just your brain giving you what you're looking for in that moment?
And how many gods were there before this one? There was a lot more.
Honestly, it's absolutely crazy. Like Chris recently got a video job editing one of these atheist channel videos, and watching it with him, it was the story of like Genesis, and like even in the first book of the Bible, how much rape and incest and murder, and all God appointed. So even on the first book, like I don't think they've actually really read how disgusting it is. So I'm nowhere near as offensive as that first book of that Bible. You know, it was, women were just property, slaves, sex slaves. You know, God absolutely condones rape and murder in that book. So it's just interesting how I'm offensive. But then this is Marilyn Manson in the 90s, although like it never stops, does it? I mean, you know, he's a good one to blame for that reason.
Exactly. Yeah. I saw a documentary about underneath the Vatican that there's some carvings on a wall where people aren't allowed to go, of course. And it shows or depicts a guy being crucified on a cross. But it was several thousand years before Christ. So there was another one. They're just copied. It's just what
there's absolute plagiarism in it, and there's very interesting stories about like Plato and how Plato was supposedly born of a virgin and he was before. And I've actually learned a lot watching, you know, these scholars on the line and stuff. Me and Chris fucking love that shit. So we fall asleep to literally. There's a guy called Matt Delahunty that he got a call-in show, and Christians just call and they just argue, and I fall asleep to the sounds of it. Just him going fucking stupid.
But it is, if you really look into it, it's just insane.
It's unbelievable. There's only two real reasons that people are religious, and that either they're indoctrinated or they usually find it when they're very broken and they need it. You know, no sane person really, you know, it's rare that they sort of find it. And yeah, they're the two. You know, I was obviously told as a small child, so it's harder to undo. But, you know, and now that I'm here and I've seen like the destruction of it, even in my own family, like that's it now. That's all I want to talk about. You know, obviously there's mental health issues still discussion in my new album, because I always talk about that stuff because I suffer with it greatly. But I think I like to have thought that all my albums sort of have a little concept, like an overall concept. And this one, you know, we the broken children of hell, it was just like, well, I was actually going to call it the broken child of hell, but then I wanted to make sure everyone felt included, because there's a lot of people that I've come across that have similar backgrounds, and even if it wasn't religious, it was just, you know, trauma of some sort from childhood. So I wanted to sort of include that together, because I do like people to feel that they can relate to me.
Yeah, I think there's a lot to be able to be relate to in the album, in the whole album, to be fair, because I think a lot of people have gone through it and stayed silent.
Yes.
I don't know what their reasons may be for staying silent. It could be just scared of the backlash, not able to take that backlash. But I think artists like yourself that bring that to the forefront and are not afraid to say it as you feel it and as you've experienced it. And I think that really helps people on the other side of your album going, cool, I'm not alone in that, you know?
Yeah.
And cool, that is true. That is right. What she's saying is right. People have got to be willing to open their ears and actually take in what you're saying, because a lot of that album is so damn right and it's spot on. I mean, I'm coming from a Christian background as well, and I was told, you have to do this, you have to do that, you've got to do this, and basically being pushed into stuff I did not want. So yeah, and you can imagine my family don't like all the difference and is it the devil you like? And it's like, well, if I don't really believe in God, I can't really believe in the devil, because one goes with the other. They don't see that. Because to them there's only the Christian world and there's nothing else. Nothing else exists.
They don't even understand an idea of anything else. But the devil is actually an interesting character. I look into quote unquote him a lot because it's actually very interesting that you only tend to read the Bible or whatever your holy book is after you've left, because during you're in it, you just listen to the preachers and you don't really tend to really pay much attention, which means that you don't really know what you're talking about. But the character of Lucifer, and Lucifer's really in the first, the Old Testament, and Satan's really in the New. Like, that's the names he's referred to. And there's no actual mention of how they're the same person. So it's just very interesting how obviously the early church decided that, we're going to make this opposition character so that we've got an oppressive thing going on. But Jewish people don't believe in a devil. So that's obviously the Old Testament. They just, Lucifer, I think, works for God in some form in the Jewish religion. But in Christianity, they invented this like opposing character because they had to have a triumph. They have to, and I do think that Christians have a bit of a persecution fetish. They really like to be victims, even though they're the majority. But Satan's actually an interesting character because even if you take it that's him, that's his story, all he wanted was people to have knowledge and not be robots. He wanted people to be free. That's what that whole Garden of Eden story is about. Yeah. I wanted to leave heaven so I could, think for myself. And he's like, all right, fuck off then if you don't want to just be a robot and follow me. And then he said to the humans, like, do you want to have knowledge or do you want to be a sheep, basically? Yeah. And that's scary to Christians because it's not an order, it's not rules, it's not, but I don't understand why they keep themselves in these chains, because actually, like, freedom, okay, so it's terrifying that there's no afterlife. In my head, I'm not saying for sure I know, but
no,
there's no afterlife and there's no chance of me seeing my loved ones again after I die. That was a big blow to me, and that's something I had to deal with. But journeying through that, I've now got to this point where I'm like, well, now I've got freedom to live this life to the full. Whereas I'm not worried, like, is this going to damn me to hell eternally for this decision? Like, am I going to, oh, fucking hell, I live this, I swear, I do this, I do that. Like, is it, I was condemned for all these things. And now it's like, well, actually, as long as I'm not hurting anybody, I can actually do what the fuck I want.
Yeah, because it does
freedom.
It does put you in a cage, basically. You aren't allowed to be yourself. No,
and you put yourself in it, which is just, it's such a bizarre, like the human brain is fascinating. And, Chris and I, luckily he grew up in this, because not a lot of people want to have this conversation unless they really understand. But we have these hours of long conversation about how amazing it is that we truly believe this. Like, I remember trying to convert people to Christianity, like and being really upset. I remember arguing with my father, and I didn't want to talk to him for like a year nearly because he wouldn't become a follower of Jesus. And the mental prison you put yourself in without even realizing, and then when you come out of the other side, you're like, fucking hell, like the guilt, the pressure, the suffocation gone. Yeah,
it's like a big release, isn't it? It's just gone. It's like a pressure valve has just gone. That's it. You're okay. You can do what you want and you can think for yourself.
And the bizarre things they do, like I grew up in evangelical church. There was a lot of speaking in tongues. There was a lot of the Holy Spirit shit, like feeling the Holy Spirit, and people like going shaking and falling into the ground and all that shit. And it was so fucking weird when you think about it. Like, what are you guys doing? It's just I don't know. It's absolutely mental, and it's only when you're out of it you really think how crazy it all is.
Although I did have a Catholic priest once tell me that he thinks that miracles didn't exist, and all they are is small villages around the world that want popularity. I thought that's
this is what I mean. They can't even agree among themselves what the actual consensus is. Like that's. Because my mother's like a evangelical Baptist, one of them. She has said that Catholics are not Christians, and then they would say that she wasn't a Christian. And Chris grew up Jehovah's Witness, and he would say that they're not Christian, and they all have the truth. So even among themselves, they can't fucking agree. Actually, I'll quickly show you. We've got an altar in the house, and how do I turn this around? We've got this altar in the house, and we've got Chris's original. See if I can turn this around.
Yep.
Oh, there it is. We've got Chrissy. Oh god, it's my chins. How do I go the right way? This way. There we go. So that's Chris's original Jehovah's Witness Bible from when he was a kid, and that's my original Bible from when I was a kid. And we've both like underlined and highlighted shit, like underlined, like we thought that was really important. So I've like, and we both keep going through it to see.
Oh my god, really?
The differences, yeah, and they differ from each other quite a bit. But yeah, I find it just really interesting because he would have said that I was wrong, and I would have said that he was wrong, even though we both believed that same book. But they're very different, and they're the same.
But you might have noticed it here when you were in Malta that each church has its own Virgin Mary. And it's like they compete with each other. Ours is better than your one. And it's like, there's supposed to be only one. Why are you all fighting over the same one?
Have you seen in Korea, there's like Korean Jesus and there's black Jesus, and then obviously America's white Jesus. It's like, he can't be all these things.
No, he can't be. You need to get your story straight if you're going to do it.
But I love how an Arab in the Middle East is white with blonde hair and blue eyes.
I know. It's just bad as well, isn't it?
But that's how he's depicted.
Do you remember, did you ever watch The Big Bang Theory?
Oh, it's awful though, come on.
Oh, I loved it, but the Jewish character was in a Catholic church, and he walks in and he went, look at that, the last Jew that ever had abs.
He always does have abs.
As if he works out.
There's that joke, isn't it? What's his favourite exercise? CrossFit.
I've not heard that.
If you type in Jesus muscles or something on Google, it's just like a series of why he's so fucking ripped and all these
long hair, blue eyes, very pale. Yeah, he lives in the Middle East.
Hair. And all his mates were called Matthew and Mark in the Middle East. Like.
Yep, and whenever people hear his voice, it's in their language.
Well, that's it. And the thing is, if they want to be so accurate, it's originally in Greek. So,
yeah.
So they're not even saying it. And the words change over time. And a word can be completely a different meaning if it's changed. So it's just, I mean, I talk about this a lot. I mean, I'm in this obsession with the YouTube at the moment. We're talking to them because it's amazing how much they don't know their own history or book. And if I was going to base my entire life now as an adult on something, I would want to know why I was doing that. And music is my whole life, and I know why I'm doing it, and I know what I bring to it and all that. But it's a subjective thing, and it's your own journey with it. But yeah, when you've got to follow a set of guidelines, completely bizarre, completely fucking bizarre.
That's what I love about your music. You don't follow those guidelines. You just break all the rules and you just go down and you just do what you want.
Sometimes it's a massive hindrance because obviously you've always got to be you, but in terms of media, I get a lot of like, I don't know where to put you. So I get a lot of like, I get told I'm too heavy for the goths and then too goth for the metal, like too dancey for the metal kids. So I get a lot of, even though I think, well, people just like music.
Yeah.
It's not the case in media. They want to pigeonhole you, and they tell you, tell me 3 bands you sound like. Well, I can tell you my influences, but I don't want to sound like anyone. Yeah.
No, you want to be you. That's it. That's the whole point of it.
I mean, I won't lie and say that I don't rip off the Prodigy a little bit, but I don't. It's not on purpose. It's just like sometimes you hear it, and you're like, that's really a similar synth to Poison, but it wasn't on purpose.
No, but there's a lot. Well, there's another band, Lords of Acid.
Yeah.
They've got a lot of songs that sound like the Prodigy, and some I think were before the Prodigies and some were after. I mean, it's just how music is, isn't it? You hear things and that is going to be there. Whether you try and avoid it, it's still going to be there.
It's what you enjoy, and you should always write music that you enjoy. And, you know, I'll never forget, and I won't name anybody, but I'll never forget what an artist told me about, or when I was starting out, so a long time ago. And they wrote a tweet. This is when I was on fucking Twitter. They wrote a tweet saying, if you dance to your own music, you're missing the point of art. And I was like, that's the most stupid thing I've ever fucking heard in my life. And you should write music for you first that you enjoy. And if other people enjoy it, that's a bonus. Because if you write for other people, well, one, the times can change and what people are into can change. So you're always just going to be like a trend. But also you're not being like authentic. And I think people know when something's not authentic. I mean, I do. When I hear something, I'm like, that's just trying to be this.
Yeah.
But then you hear something and you're like, I really like obscure sort of, I don't know, like, do you remember an industrial band called Life Cried?
No, I haven't. No.
Oh, like years and years ago. I don't think they go anymore. And that kind of, they've got an agrotech style that was just very like gritty and like raw, and it didn't have a lot, like the production was like messy on purpose, and it was just great. And I think, well, I'll always listen to them even though they're not going, because I just really enjoy that stuff. I don't really care what's popular.
No.
It's like, is it good? So I don't know.
Exactly it. I just went to see UK Subs, and my wife came with me. She's not into this music, and she thought, oh, God, I'm going to watch a 79-year-old try and be punk. But she was lucky because she found a seat, so she sat down and watched. But she came out and said, it wasn't as bad as I thought, and he is still good. He still does sound good, and he does sound good. I mean, it's
is he
amazing.
Really 79?
He's 80 next year, yeah.
Fucking hell, man! Because they tour the UK a lot. I think they're actually on their last. Is it the last?
This is
one
the last tour, but they have said their last tour, but they'll still do the odd festival and the odd gig together. But
because they do Rebellion a lot, because they're obviously big. That's a big punk festival here.
But he does still jump.
I didn't realise he was 79. Good for him. I mean, but Gary Newman's 62 and he's still fucking touring the world.
Yeah, but it was a great gig, to be fair.
I mean, isn't Iggy Pop like 100?
Yeah, I think he is, isn't he?
He's still touring.
I don't know how he's still going that one.
No, I can only hope I will be going that long. Because that's the thing. That's the beautiful thing about music. Like, if you're a sports person, you've got a certain like shelf life where they won't put you on anymore because you get to a certain age. But music, you can, Johnny Cash wrote music till he was dead.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
You can do that, and that's the beauty. And you can slowly evolve your style. Like, I'm not going to be jumping around on stage probably when I'm 70, but I hope I'll still fucking be there. Well,
he is still, he does still jump, not as much, but he still does.
Yeah. Good for him.
Yeah.
Do you know what I did? When I was in, I want to shout out Russell. When I was in W Festival in Belgium in August, me and Chris were at a hotel waiting to go to our, it was our day that we were playing, and we all got all our makeup on and everything. And this really cool older guy comes up to us and he was like, "Hey man, you look so cool. Who are you?" And we was like, "Oh, Pretty Addicted. We're playing today." And he's like, "Well, I'm the original drummer on the records from Village People." And I was like, "No way." And we ended up talking to him, and he was so cool. And he was like telling us, he's like, "You've got to make sure no matter what anyone says that you keep going, man." He's like, "I'm going to die right behind a drum kit. The last thing I'm going to do in this world is I'm going to hit that drum and I'm going to die right there." And he's like, that's how I'm going out. Like, never stop, never give up. And me and Chris have become obsessed with him in our minds, because we're just like, yes, that's the dream. Like, keep, like, both of our families are like, "Why are you musicians? There's no like money in this, and there's no success because it's not seen as a real thing." But I was like, no, when you see someone like him, and he's, he was so excited to be a musician, and because we didn't recognize him, he wasn't like, "Oh, how dare you not know who I was." He just talked to us.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Just keep going. You guys are really cool." And then he like followed us and started commenting on our things. And we're like, okay, we're like a little bit famous now because like the Village People follow us.
That's brilliant, isn't it?
But he was just so like excited about being a musician and being alive and still going after all this time. And he was just like, I'm the original drummer on all the records. And he was just like so happy about music. And that's it. As long as you're happy, do it.
That's it, isn't it? It's as long as you're happy. And if you're happy, just enjoy and keep going. Don't let anyone
and don't
put
worry
you
about
down.
what anyone else says. No, honestly, don't worry about what anyone else says. Like, most of my family are like, she's a fucking deadbeat that does music. It's irrelevant.
Are they that bad? Are they?
Well, we don't speak, but I hear it plenty. And then I go to a gig and someone will come up to me and be like, you're my favorite band and like your song helped me through this bad time. And you're like, well, how can that not be success?
Yes.
You know,
exactly
that's what success is. It's not how much money you've got in the bank, because there's no money in music.
No.
None.
No.
But
and
that's not my motivation.
I've spoke to so many bands and they all say the same thing. There is no money. It just doesn't earn any money. You know, we're just lucky to get the payment that gets us to a gig and gets us back again. That's about it.
I do really well in merch, but I spend a lot of money on merch. Like, I won't show you because it's messy, but I've got cupboards and drawers over there of fucking merch. Like, and because I pay really good artists to design me things, that's a cost. And then because it's more than the colors, like every color that you know is a cost. And then you order it in bulk, which is a cost. And then, you know, you cart it around. And so every time someone gets something, it's so appreciated, but it usually just goes back into getting more and doing more band things. And, you know, this album cost me well over 20 grand, you know, just to be really transparent with my audience. Like when I did including like tour and everything, you know, when I did the crowdfund, I was, you know, it was amazing. I got, you know, £8,000, which is incredible with being one person. But that sort of set me up. But then I had to do everything else, you know, and I've got 400 orders to post out in a couple of days when the CDs get here. And that's going to be a lot of money. And, you know, exactly. They're going to love me at the post office.
That T-shirt you came out with, I don't think it was this time. I think it was the previous one. That was magnificent artwork. The
Jesus one.
Yes, that's the one.
Yes. Yeah, no, she's great. She's she's like the guy that has the red camera. That's his partner. So they're a bit of a power couple. Yeah, and she's crazy good, and she's designed a couple of mine. And the album artwork is that T-shirt's amazing. Like the guy that did my album art, she's really like. She does it all with watercolors, and it's very minimalistic and spooky and cool. And I always like having my album covers as a piece of art by an artist, rather than like my face, because I really like art, and I can't paint or draw, but I think that it's another way to add art to art, you know, rather than just chucking my face on it. And there's different, you know, artists can depict you in different ways, so they can do the same face. And I love the idea that I'm just in all these different ways on these T-shirts. But
they are brilliant. You're right. The artwork on your T-shirts, they really are good.
Thank you. And like I say, every time, look, guys, anyone watching, if you get a T-shirt, it really does help. It's not like it doesn't pay the bills really, or go towards me. It goes to the business, and the business can do more touring and more music the more it has. So that's kind of what you're paying when you pay for a piece of merch from any artist. You're kind of helping them continue going on, because there's only so much you can put in of your own, you know, and you get the limit there of what you can do. But the more help the fans put in, the more you can do. And touring is very, very expensive, and unfortunately as well, if the turnouts aren't as good, you can't ask for certain fees and things like that. So one thing me and Chris were making over summer, and he's got to edit it still, bless him, but we've been making a documentary on tour, the whole tour, about what it's like to tour at this level. So we came up with this idea a while back, because when you see documentaries of bands, it's usually after they've made it, like Manson, Slipknot, all these, and like how cool it is, you know, to go backstage in the arena and it's great. But I don't think there's a lot of this level where like you're sort of DIY and you're doing everything yourself, like what that looks like. So we filmed everything from like packing merch for tour to being on coaches at 3 a.m. to showing the venue, to showing how much time we have from traveling there to getting to the venue, to playing, to sleeping, to the next one, like just showing everything. And he's got a lot of footage to go through, but it's a lot. And I wanted people to really see like what it's actually like. And it's got an element, it's hopeful. And the end is like, look, it's graft, but it's worth it. But I want people to see like how much actually really goes into it. And it's not just a case of like, oh, you got loads of likes online and you look really cool and you're playing these cool things, so you must just have this like incredibly wonderful life. It is work.
Yeah. And hard work as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really hard work.
Especially on your own. You know, like Chris is amazing and he really helped me, but you know, he's only been in Pretty Addicted for 2 years, and I was a decade before that of what I do, and obviously the most of the stuff falls on me, so there is a lot to do. You know, I package all this merch, I post all this merch, I deal with the admin, I book all the tours, I write all the music, I do all the video. This is the whole.
You're the management, you're everything, aren't you?
Everything, and I personally have never ever taken a penny from it. So. I always make a joke that everyone gets paid but me.
Yeah.
But it's not, it's like, it's a joke because it's the truth. And I'm like, if I don't laugh, I'll cry. Exactly.
That's exactly what you would do, wouldn't it? But I mean, but going back to your album, this is a great release. It really is. I mean, there's so many tracks you could talk about. But you're putting across a message that I think is really important. And if it opens one person's eyes to what really goes on in the background, I think that's a good thing. It's just, I think people need to hear a different side. They only hear one side. It's the only side they want to believe. But if they could hear something like this, and they've got to open their ears, and they've got to be kind of a bit strong, I would say, to hear what you're saying, because it's said in such a, I don't know what you want to say, honest way from the heart.
Yeah.
It's what you've really felt about it. And that's the beauty of how you write. It always seems to come direct from inside. And it's just, this is what I went through. This is how you have made me feel.
Well, there was a week when like I had my heart broken for some reason. I don't really want to go into it, but the day after it happened, I wrote Blood Moon, and the day after that I wrote No Memories, and I've never ever been in that much agony emotionally ever in my life. And I was like, you know, suicidal, and I didn't know what to do. And I was like, I'm just going to fucking write exactly how I feel right now. And with No Memories, I wanted the perfect sample. So I watched so many videos online about heartbreak, and I really, really dug into my pain, and I never sobbed like that. And I necked a bottle of Jack. And I wrote it. Like, I was just like, I'm just going to feel it all and put it in the song. And then it's just going to stay there. And it's not in me anymore. And it can belong to everybody else. And it's really hard to listen to those two songs, really hard. But they exist now, and they're not in me anymore. So From the Heart is it, because that's all I've got. There's no other. I would have just died. You know, I feel like so many times I could just have chosen that. You know, I mean, I suffer with bipolar disorder, so I'm always going through various depressions of like, this is the last one. And art pulls me out of it. Music pulls me out of it. And not just my own, you know, listening to other people's music as well. Just really, I just surround myself with music. But I always find that if I write in the worst moments, that I write my best songs. And because they're honest, they're not me sitting there thinking, oh, how do I write a hit? Which I don't think is the right way to write anyway.
No.
And you can tell when someone's done that. But it's like, I feel the worst I could possibly feel. I'm going to feel it on purpose, and I'm going to write this emotion out in music form. And I managed to, in that, it was about the space of 6 days that I wrote both those songs in music. And then I went into the studio to do the vocals. And I just wanted to do it there and then, because if I thought about it too much, I would just not get through it. So I was like, just fucking do it. And it wasn't until Blood Moon video that I made that I even thought about it again. I really just couldn't. And even when, to be fair, when I made the Blood Moon video, I was still in my depression, and it was snowing, and it was like -4 degrees. It was really bad. And I said to my friend, "Can you help me shoot this video? I need to do it now." And it was in December, even though it came out in this year. But I stood. It was raining, and like honestly, -4. I went blue in between shots. I got my friend to shoot the thing there and then, because I was like, I need to do this like right now. And then I stopped. I didn't look at the phone again until like 4 months later when I made it. But so I really, these songs are really my whole heart, soul, everything. And people don't like it. I really don't give a shit. I really hope they do, but it wasn't for anybody else. It was like honestly therapy. And if it helps anyone, if anyone relates in any way, if they just like dancing to him, fuck yeah, you know.
Yeah. But I think that's the important part as well. If it helps someone else, you've done more than what was necessary of your music, really. I mean, you've helped yourself, and then if it helps someone else, superb. So
and that's fucking success, isn't it?
That is. It is. I mean, that's real success. I mean, money's important. You need it, unfortunately. But helping someone else and getting yourself cleared of those, well, as much as you can cleared of those things, that's got to be paramount to anything you do. And happy. Yes. I mean, happiness is still an ongoing search. But my friend Pache, she's actually, I covered one of her songs in this album, but she told me once, I've known her for a very long time. She lives in Texas. We've been like best mates over the internet for a long, long time. We have met, but we haven't seen her for a very long time. And she told me once, your job is to write music for people who are where you were 10 years ago. And I sort of forgot that, because, you know, the person that you were when you were small, that's who you're really talking to, isn't it? Yeah.
You know, your little self. So the idea that, because I know that I listened to music in those dark times, and those albums will stay with me forever, no matter what these artists have done, Manson, you know, those albums define part of who you are, and you're you know, unfortunately the person, whatever, but you can't ever take that away, because those albums got you through those times. And the idea that anything I write could do that for anyone else, that honestly is fucking success. That right there. It is. That right there.
I'm pretty sure of that. That's what really defines success.
Yeah.
And if you actually found that person and they actually said to you, you helped me, that's it. You know, that's where you've got it exactly right.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you're going to hear that.
I'm lucky that people do come and talk to me. Like, I love people talking to me at shows, you know. I never want to be the person that's like backstage being a cunt and not hanging out with people, you know. I like, you know, talking to people, especially, you know, if they like my music, and just hearing, you know, their stories and that they relate is it's amazing, because it is that feeling of what you said earlier about you're not alone, you know. And even if it's slightly different, because every experience is different, it's like, wow, we're all just these broken shit. Well, I've actually called fans broken people for a while. It was actually as a joke at the beginning, and I asked them if it was okay because I saw that a lot of people in wheelchairs with crutches and sort of physical disabilities were coming to my gigs. So I called them the broken people out of affection, and I asked them, like, I'm not trying to be disabled, and they were like, no, we find it funny. But the reason I said it was because I found it amazing that so many people make excuses of why they can't come to a gig, but I had all these people who are physically disabled turning up at my shows because it meant that much to them. And obviously, if you can't, you can't. There's nothing wrong with that. But it was just the point of, like, music's that important that people will try if they can. And we're all broken emotionally, physically. Like, I find that the definite weirdos are my lot.
Yeah. It's like that saying, beware of the weirdos. We are the weirdos.
yeah. And I hope no one takes what I just said in a bad way, because I honestly mean it as a sign of affection, just the same way I say crackheads and they're not really drug addicts.
No.
It's just, I just always found it funny. There was a day I looked around and I was like, there's 4 people here in crutches and 1 in wheelchairs. And then someone texted me earlier saying, I can't come because I've got work in the morning. I thought, these people can like, you know, they don't always feel like they can leave the house, and they're here and they're on crutches and they're at my gig. Like, you know, support live music, for fuck's sake.
Exactly.
Seriously.
And there's nothing like it, is there?
No,
there's nothing like it.
No. I went to a gig yesterday. Was it yesterday? What's the date? Yes, yesterday I went to Vexed. Awesome band. Fucking awesome band. It's like a djent metal style, and she's fucking incredible. She talks a lot about mental health, and the game was raised, like, with that one, because you can tell they're on the cusp of, like, next level. Like, she gave me Ginger vibes, you know, absolutely fucking incredible.
Wow.
And me and Chris had about a half an hour conversation after of how we can make our shows better next week based upon that show. You know, it can inspire you, a gig. It can make you feel. It can make you escape. You know, it can. You know, you listen to your favorite songs. You sing those songs with a whole group of people. There's nothing like it. And there was a guy at the front screaming every word, and you could tell it was the best day of his life. And half of it was like, it's so annoying because I can't hear her because he's there. And the other half was like, but I love that guy when I'm on stage. That guy's so important. So I was like, I'm just going to let him have it.
Brilliant. Well, I'll tell you a quick story about the UK Subs gig. I was getting my camera out, and I know you probably don't know, but I'm visually impaired.
Oh, okay.
In the UK, I'm classed as legally blind because I haven't got any central vision. So,
okay.
If you saw
the
my
glasses
screen,
are just to look smart.
They are just to look smart, which doesn't work. So there's me getting this camera out, and this guy came up, an oldish guy, Mohican, and he came up. He said, "Here, mate, come out the thing." And then he hit my wristband, which was studded, and he went, "Ow, right. That hurt, man! Bloody hell, that'll do some damage." Anyway, come out here. I'll help you with your camera. And he said, "Do you want to take a picture of my hair?" I said, "Yeah, all right, then. Go on, I'll do it." Yeah. And he said, "I've actually lost all my hair. Feel it." He said, "It's AstroTurf." And then the other bit was the support band was called Chaos 8.
Okay.
Really good, really loud punk band. Amazing voice. She had a really good voice for that, and very much like Vice Squad.
Okay.
That kind of style. Yeah. And so I'm there with my camera, trying to look cool, trying to get bands who want interviews and things later on.
Yeah.
And after the gig, my wife said, "Oh, you know that woman that was on the stage?" I said, "Yeah." She said, "I had a great conversation with her." I'm standing there, I can't get no one to talk, and you're talking to behind.
No. That's fine.
What the hell?
And you're such a jolly guy as well. Why wouldn't anyone want to talk to you?
Probably because I can't bloody see him.
Yeah, the people think your eye like daggering them. Like, what are you looking at?
I know, because sometimes I do stare, trying to recognise a face, and because I can't make faces out very well. So people tend to think I'm ignoring them, and they kind of see me later on. They go, "God, you're an ignorant bastard." spoke to the other day and he didn't even acknowledge us. Sorry.
You should get a t-shirt saying, I can see you, I just don't want to fucking talk to you.
But I try not
Does
to
it
make
affect
it.
your ability to enjoy a gig?
No. I listen to the music and just enjoy it. The only problem is if you've got to walk somewhere at a gig and there's some steps and it's dark, it's a bit, really makes it difficult.
That's another thing that I'm finding. A lot of venues don't really have a lot of wheelchair access or anything like that, or ways to accommodate for disabled people. And there's a band in Cardiff called Vanity Kills, and their drummers, she's disabled. And they're actually, I think, doing either a GoFundMe or a petition or something to try and get more venues to have wheelchair access, because there's actually not. It's quite bad, isn't it? Because people want to enjoy gigs and they're disabled in different ways, but they can't because it's not accommodating for it. And there's a guy called Muttley, and he is in a wheelchair, and he couldn't come to my last 2 Welsh shows, even though he's from Wales, because they weren't wheelchair accessible, and he's really gutted. And it's like, you don't. I mean, maybe it's on bands as well to arch the venues in advance, but they should have, places for people that aren't visually, abled as much, to stand in a place where they're not going to get trampled and things like that, because there is a lot of moshing as well, and you can never be sure.
No, you can't. You can't until you get there. That's what I did find about the venue in Malta, the different levels in there, and they weren't lit up, and saw quite a few people trip over, and it's like, you need a bit of lighting there. You really do.
Yeah. Especially if they're drunk.
Yeah, exactly. And it is a great venue. It is a great venue, and it's a great gig.
I love Malta.
You did enjoy it, did you?
I did. Do you know what? I mean, you're saying about the sort of churches in Malta. I really like the visual imagery of churches and cathedrals and things like that. So it's got a very beautiful aesthetic. And I wish I could have spent more time viewing the country rather than, because obviously when you're playing, you tend to see the hotel, at the venue, and the airport.
That's about
you don't really get to go. Yeah. So people are like, oh, what's this country like?
So much to enjoy here. There really is.
Yeah. So it might be one of the things what I'll do Chris and I were saying for our anniversary, maybe to go back to Malta maybe next year, and then just get somewhere closer. Because what's the name of the place that begins with G that they do Dark Malta?
Jampula.
That's it.
Jampula.
Apparently around there's quite a lot of stuff. So although when we went to Malta, when we played there last year, my gay best friend came with me and Chris and I, and the day before we played, we went to a gay bar. We started drinking at 12 noon and we finished drinking at 12 midnight. We literally drank for 12 hours. We went to every gay bar in Malta. I spent like 200 quid each. It was mental. In all sorts of cages in gay bars and all that. And it was such a good night. It actually really was quite a good night. That was fun memories. There was a guy with his girlfriend in the room, in the dance floor, and then he disappeared, and my friend disappeared, and he came back and he went, oh, I just got with that guy. I was like, yeah, but hasn't he got a girlfriend? He's like, yeah, but all these guys are gay. I was like, what? His girlfriend was, honestly, don't get me started.
That's different. But no, it is a wonderful place. If you can spend a little bit of time there, you'll probably, I mean, if you've got a video to record, you'll probably find somewhere there that would be ideal. I mean, there's a lot of derelict places where you could make something quite along your lines of video. Be brilliant.
Well, we're in Finland next month at Helsinki Industrial Festival, and we're going for the whole time. But again, like, you just sort of go for the gig, so I'm not sure how much we'll get to see. And it's going to be cold. I don't do well with the cold. No.
It's going to be bloody freezing, I reckon.
Oh no, Finland. Chris is the same. He doesn't do well with the cold, so we're just going to complain for 3 days probably. But I'm excited. I've never been to Finland, so there might be some good like places like black metal style forest to shoot videos there as well. You never know.
But I reckon it'll be cool.
And Rotterdam are headlining, who I love. I love Rotterdam. They're great. And
there's some great bands about, isn't? And especially like yourself, if you're playing alongside them, wow, does it get any better than that?
I mean, no, and that's the thing. I'm a music fan, not just an artist. So when I get put on these lineups, I'm like, oh my god, I get to see this band, I get to see that band, and I keep asking the festivals I get booked for, like, can I come the whole time? Because I find that bands are going for the day they play, then they go, and I've managed to get away with going to the last three all the time. So I got to experience the whole thing. So you don't ask, you don't get.
Well, after the festival, I this year did something really rock and roll. Spent the morning with Eric 13 from Combi Christ.
Oh, yeah.
While he did his laundry.
Did you see his gym jams and his pants?
That was the most rock and roll we did. That's the beauty of it all, isn't it? You can.
Yes.
People don't realise that off stage, you're people. Yeah. You know, you're real people. It's just have fun and just do normal things, and that's fantastic. Yes, some things are really boring. I will say that "There Is No God" is one of my favourite songs on that album. By the way.
Oh, I'm so glad. Thank you.
Yeah, you've done really well with this album, and I know from your videos and etc. how hard you must have worked to get this to this stage. And I think for something you've done all yourself, including the videos, and you've put one song out a month.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And I'm going to continue to do so even when the album's out, because I've spent so long in this album, I'm really emotionally attached to it. And I feel like every song has its own story that I want to visually like show.
Yeah.
You know, there's a couple I won't do because the story isn't necessarily mine to tell. So I don't think it's right to. But most of them, I really want to, because I can see when I got so enveloped in all of them, I'm like, I can see the video for it as I'm making it. And I want to do a video for The Room, which is like all black and white and like a silent film type style. I can just see like all the things, and I know I've really got into making the videos, and I've made them all last minute. You have absolutely no idea. Like, you talk about fitting things in. I've been making them like so close to the fucking release. It's like unreal. And I got down to so like There Is No God. I finished about half a day before it came out, and I was sitting there like staring at it going, oh my god, like it's on release day and I'm still doing it. But it's worth doing right, I think.
But I can see the passion that you put into it, or you can tell that you love what you do.
Yeah.
And
I don't know what else across. I would do.
No, that's it. You're an artist, and that shows. I know it's coming out on the 20th, isn't it?
Yeah, on Friday, October 20th, and that's also the launch party gig in Leeds. It's the start of the tour. We're only playing songs off the new album. I'm excited. I'm really excited. I feel like I say, I feel like it's my best work. I feel like I can stand by every song. I wanted to write an album. I mean, I scrapped a few of them. I wanted to be able to say, if someone said, oh, what song should I show a friend? Any of them. I didn't want to have any that I considered filler. I wanted to be able to stand by every single one and be like, you can show anyone any of them. So like I say, there's ones I finished, but I scrapped. So I was like, I can't stand by it on its own. So it was really important to me that this was the best thing I could do. Hope, I call it the start of my new era. So I'm hoping that I feel like it's the fifth album. I mean, there was one I wrote before with someone else, but I consider this my fifth album. And I feel like I finally found like the sound that I'm happy with. And, you're always trying different things and working with what you like and enjoy, but I feel like this is it, just like really heavy, dark dance music that's got that, I don't know, I've got so many elements in there of just things I like and just making it really evil and sinister, but always dance music. I'm just a raver in my soul. Just an absolute
to me,
raver.
when I hear your music, I can't put it in I wouldn't want to pigeonhole it. It's just it's almost like, to me, it's like punk music with a danceable punk music, but there's no real place to put it. It's just Pretty Addicted. It is what it is. They're straight out. Yeah.
Thank you. That really does mean a lot. That was important to me. I didn't pigeonhole it's not me as a person. No. It's not me as people don't really. I'm a whole lot of person. I wanted the music to be the same thing. People be like, I don't know. People say to me, I don't know what the fuck I just watched, but I love it. And I love that compliment.
Yeah, that's great, isn't it? I love when you see comments like that. What the fuck was that? But it was great.
I don't know what it was, but I fucking loved it.
Yeah, I loved it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Is there anything else you'd like to mention?
No, I think that's everything. Just anyone watching that, considers yourself a fan, whether old or new, or you like me as a person, just support me where you can. Like it's like I say, money's not the plan or why I do this, but it does help me be able to keep going. So like get the physical download instead of streaming, get the digital download on Bandcamp instead of streaming, get a t-shirt, come out to the shows, share it on your social medias for nothing at all, tell your friends, just help me make this like the best release ever. That's what I want. I want this to be, I really appreciate people that say how much they love It All Stems from Childhood, which is my first album. And that song Mania is like something that everyone loves a lot. And I'm honored I can touch people. But that was 10 years ago. So sometimes it's a bit like,
is it really 10 years ago now?
Yeah.
Wow.
Next year will be 10 years of the album, but Mania came out 10 years ago in November. And it's, even though I'm honored and, I really love how much people love that song, check out my new stuff. I work really hard on it and it represents who I am now and the direction that my music is in now. And I hope you find a new favorite Pretty Addicted song. And I'll never take songs away from you. So I don't want to be ungrateful or anything like that, but sometimes it's just a bit like, please check out my new stuff as well. Don't just live in the past. And it's something you only realize when you're an artist, because I've been guilty 10, 12, 15 years ago of saying, that it's not like that first album of theirs. And it's like, but you evolve, you grow, your sound changes, you change as a person. And I'll always be grateful for the support for that album, but I've had 4 since. So
exactly.
Give it a chance, please. If you like Mania, if that's your gateway song, just check out my new stuff as well.
And it is really good music, so it's got to be checked out. I will. And
this is the first tour I'm not playing that song, so sorry to disappoint, but I don't want to be reliant on any song or any past thing, so I want to be appreciated for the artist that I am and continue to be, and then you bring back the nostalgia when it feels like you should. So
I will put all the links for you.
Thank you.
And for anyone watching, I'll put all the links to Bandcamp, and if there's anything I haven't got, just send them across to me and I will make sure they're under the video. So
Thank you. Well, Bandcamp's actually really important. Like, so guys, you don't actually have to have a Bandcamp account to download a song on Bandcamp. And the thing is, there's a thing called Bandcamp Friday. If you're not aware, the first Friday of every month, the artists keep all the royalties for whatever you download. So when you pay £1 for a single, that £1 goes to me. When you listen to Spotify, it's 0.003% like cents per stream. It's like, yes, it looks cool to media. I'm like, oh my God, I got 100 million views. I'm so cool. But that does not pay for lunch, like really. So if the 12,000 people on my Facebook likes paid for a download, I could, imagine what I could do. Like it's just, please value music financially. And if it's £1 single of like your top 5 bands of that month, if you buy 5 songs a month, I think you're just supporting music in general. It's not just me. Like, music will die if AI takes over and the digital world takes over. And music is so important. It's human, and it's the human experience.
It's one thing we've had from the very early stages of mankind. I think we've had, well, humankind or whatever. But it's always been there. Whether it was just banging sticks together, it was still music to people. So,
and it's an absolute release, whether you're listening to it, performing it, making it. It's like, you know, there's a different genre for each emotion. No matter what you want to feel in that moment, there's a song for it. And that's just fucking amazing. Like, how could you not find that fascinating? So even if you don't like my music and you like me as a person, you know, just support me in that way anyway, just so I can live this. And thank you to everyone that does support me. It's like unbelievably appreciated, and you know, you help me do this, and I can't be more grateful. And if you want to join my Patreon as well, I do things like live video hangouts and watch a bit of rehearsal, and you can watch some live shows on a private stream and stuff like that. So help me out if you can.
You heard it.
Thank you very much for
now
having
hear
me.
the album as well.
Yes, please. I hope you enjoy it. 20th of October. Play it loud, share it everywhere.
Definitely. Bish, it's always you're always welcome anytime.
Thank you.
Send me a message, whether it's before maybe another campaign or whatever you do. Just let us know.
Thank you so much. Have a lovely day. And hang on, Velvet's going to say goodbye.
Oh,
he's got her in it. Hello. The song I couldn't finish on time was called My Best Friend Pisses on Everything I Love, and it was about her. But I will get round to sharing it at some point, because this literally of her moment. And she does piss on everything.
It's her territory.
I know. Well, have a lovely day.
Yeah, you take good care as well. And thank you for your time as well. And I will share this, and I will get it out before release. I promise you that.
Thank you so much. I will share it on my page. Lots of love.
You take care.
Bye.
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 Bye.